Thanks for tuning in to Picture Lock. I'm Kevin Sampson, and my next guest believes that representation is everything. The need to feel desired and gorgeous is a part of human nature, whether we'd like to admit it or not. A part of your identity is connected to how you feel about the way you look. So, who says there's anything wrong with feeling beautiful? I'm not sure, but I do have the writer, director, cinematographer, and editor of the short film Melanin. Yes, did it all. Raquez Rouse on the line with me. Raquez, welcome to Picture Lock.
Hey, Kevin, thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really excited to be here.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Raquez, I love to start in the very beginning. When did you first fall in love with film?
Whoa. Film chose me, I say. I started when I was 14. I got my first digital camera, and all I knew how to do was just pretty much replicate what I was already seeing. So I would take like music videos. I know I did like Kelly Price and Beyonce and Taylor Swift. And I had my sister at the time. She was probably like maybe 6 or 7 years old, and she would be my model. And so we would like do these music videos, and I would take my grandmother's lamps and use it as my lighting, and we would go through her closet and her wigs and stuff, and I would dress my sister up. So I was kind of like doing the styling and the directing and the cinematography all at once, and it was not good at all. But to me, when I look back at it, it shows me that I really had that storytelling talent and gift that was already there. So I would say 14 is when I started.
Man, that's always one of my favorite questions, just because I think we all it's interesting as you get older and then you look back and you're like, it was always there. And so I can totally see grabbing some lamps, and I think this is right, and it's
Hmm.
totally terrible, but it's giving
Totally
you
terrible.
right the basics right there. That's awesome. All right, so take me from this 14-year-old to who you are now. I love to get a backstory. How did you make your way into the industry?
Well, so and I don't want to ramble, but it's kind of a complex story. When I was in high school, I took a photography course, and I had an instructor at the time. She saw this potential in me, so she would really be on me about making sure that I would, do my work and everything. And she had me submit my work to like North Carolina um, State Fair and all these different like things. 'Cause I started in photography, so from there, I remember her telling me one day after class, she was like, "Out of all of the students here, you'll probably be the only one that ends up going pro." And I was like probably
Wow.
17 at the time, and I that to me was like a super huge honor for her to say that. She was a much older lady, so she knew art and she knew her stuff. And then fast forward a few years, I went to school. I went to the Art Institute. I had a blast, loved it, loved everything about it. I met so many amazing people, and the instructors I learned so much from. And so I would say right around the time when I was in school, that's when I started to really develop my niche for like film and cinematography. I had a lot of other filmmakers, not a lot, but a few that were around me that I would like, watch what they were doing and kind of talk to them, and they would have me help them with their lighting and stuff like that. So it was kind of like, it kind of just welcomed me with open arms, I would say.
I love that story in terms of the fact that mentors are important, right? Somebody that sees the potential in you when you don't necessarily see it in yourself, and speaks that life into you. And look what we have now with Melanin, right?
Right.
So that's dope. That's dope. Um, what inspired you to make this piece? And if you could, for the audience members that have not seen it yet, just kind of set up, kind of what it is about. Because I think even with our judges, as they kind of watched it, you can tell that they don't know quite how to describe it, but not in a bad way, but like in a good way, where it's like, yo, it's basically like almost like a cologne commercial, in terms of style, but there's this beautiful narrative. So just set that up for the audience.
Nice. Wow. I've never heard it compared that way to a cologne commercial. I would say Melanin is pretty much, it tells two stories about two different individuals, but based on one common theme, and that's being Black. So, on one hand, you have a young lady that is in a toxic relationship, and she loses a sense of herself. And so throughout the little, monologue, the script is talking about how she went through this destitute state of almost not even wanting to be here. And then she realizes that she already is the queen, the goddess. Then you fast forward into the second half of the film, where there's a young man. He's a black young man growing up in America. He realizes that the odds are stacked against him, and so from there, it's like you have to work harder to just even get some type of credentials or any type of acknowledgement. So it just talks about how we as black people have had to work so hard, and sometimes we still don't get acknowledged and recognized for the great work that we have done. And where would the world be without black people? And what inspired Melanin is I was going through a time in my own personal life. I was in my last year of college, and I was feeling kind of like how the young man was feeling, where it was like there were a lot of white faculty, and I felt like some of the opportunities that were being afforded to other students were not being afforded to me. And it was a smaller school, so it wasn't like you're a big, small fish in the big pond. It was pretty much just everyone knew each other, and it was like for me to have as much um, repertoire with my instructors. And I don't want to like sound, cocky or anything, but my work was good, and they acknowledged it, and everyone knew my work ethic and everything. And I still, for some reason, would get a hard time with some of the higher ups, if you will. So it just kind of really frustrated me, and it made me realize, even though I may try to assimilate to their culture, or I may try to show myself to be friendly, they still see me based on this, and I still have to be realistic with myself that the odds are stacked against me. So,
This is a powerful thing, right? Now, there, of course, in the past year, right, a little over a year, we've
mhm,
had this whole talk about race and racism in America, what that means. But this is something that, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if you're black, you're still going to be dealing with it, right? And
mhm,
so I think we all have these realizations and this wrestling of what does it mean to be black, black in America, and how do you respond. It's almost like those, what is it, the seven stages of grief, where like you could get angry and then you just accept it, and then like you're sad, or and you constantly go through it. But I do see this film as inspirational. What I love about as an artist is it's kind of your way of like yelling, right? Like, and we don't kill anybody, we'll just do it on screen, right? But it's your way of
mhm,
like being like, ah, but
mhm,
speaking to that person that might not understand it. Because what you were just talking about, I remember more so in high school, it was just one of those unwritten things, but you knew, as unfortunately, as a black actor, you weren't going to get the lead role until your senior year. And that's kind of just like how it was. And it's very unfortunate. And perhaps our teachers don't realize that like that's what's happening, but it is something that we have to deal with. And so as we kind of wrap out here, I'm wondering, what do you hope that audiences take away from seeing this film?
what I hope the audiences walk away with is a feeling of pride and strength, and feeling that they are literally a chosen people. I don't mean to sound like I'm talking from the script, but it literally, that's really what I hope they take away from it. That they feel empowered, that they feel strengthened, encouraged to know that you are chosen. You were born in this skin for a reason, and that means that there's something about you that is divine, that's strong, and you are equipped, and nobody else could have done it but you. So
Wow, well said. Melanin will be screening virtually at this year's DC Black Film Festival during our Love Film Block, August 19th through 22nd. Make sure you check out how you can get tickets for this screening and more, as well as our free online panel events at dcbff.org. Raquez, how can people find out more about you if they want to follow you online, etc.?
yes, yes, yes. So on Instagram and Facebook, at Mr. Mr. Raquez Rouse. My website is raquezrouse.com.
creator of the short film Melanin, Raquez Rouse. Thanks so much for coming on Picture Lock.
Thank you.